Hey, and welcome to Insurance Town. I'm the mayor, Heath Sheeran, and the host of this podcast. God, I'm super pumped that you are hanging out with us today in Insurance Town. We've got a great guest and my good friend, Randi DuLaney. Can't wait for you to check that out. It's going to be a good one and very inspiring and uplifting. And I know this because it's already been recorded. Anyhow, today's program is brought to you by some incredible sponsors. And guys, I can't do this show without the sponsors. You can't listen to the show without the sponsors. We can't have a good time. They're a great part of the program, and they do so many things for you. I really do my best to get sponsors that I believe in, that I know are going to help you, and they're going to help you succeed and be better at what you do. Starting with my friends over at Smart Choice, the fastest growing agency network for a reason. No lengthy contracts, no upfront fees, and they share in their bonus and contingencies. They try to negotiate for you to get you the highest commissions and the lowest thresholds that you can get. And it's so easy. Go to smartchoiceagents.com. They even have a map where you can choose your state, find out who to contact, find out all the markets ahead of time. So awesome. Also, my really, really good friends over at Canopy Connect, your one-click solution to getting all those deck pages that you need to quote your prospects. And now they are not only doing that, but they are also doing commercial. And that is a game changer. If you need to get those loss runs, go to Canopy Connect. That's usecanopy.com. And go to /Heath and get your discount, get your demo. Check it out. Tell them the mayor sent you. And you're going to be so glad that you did. Guys, today I've got Randi DuLaney, my good friend, and she's been on the carrier side. She's worked in the work comp. She's been an agency owner, and now she is doing some pretty amazing things over at Travelers. And I can't wait for you to hear this program. So I'm going to get out of the way and bring her in. I'm so glad you're hanging out with me today. This is going to be so much fun.
I'm happy to do this. We've talked about it for a long time.
A long time. And so for context of the audio listeners only, you and I have been friends for over a decade now, I feel like.
Wow.
It's been a while. It's been a long time. We met at a conference. We just spent a week together at another conference last week, and it's been good times. It's been a good time. And so you've been on quite the journey throughout your career, and I love that, and I want to hear more about that. And I want my people that are listening to know who you are. So let's take a walk down memory lane. Let's go back as far as you want to, and then lead me up to where you are now.
Okay, cool. Well, I graduated from the University of Central Arkansas out of the Insurance and Risk Management program there. And I wasn't originally going to go into insurance, even though playing competitive sports growing up, one of our coaches was an insurance agent, did really well. And I just saw the freedom he had. And I thought, hey, this is something I could get into. And my brain worked that way. Like, what if this happens? What if that happens? You know, what are the next steps? So I went into that program and graduated from it. And so grateful because I sat pretty the last semester of my senior year. I was sitting there and I had a job. I got a job with Travelers Insurance Company before I even graduated, which was awesome. I was an underwriter for management liability, very specialized products, 10 and a half years. Then I got an opportunity to jump over to the work comp side and expand my knowledge. So I went to work for Summit Consulting, which is a great company too. Pandemic happened. I got a call to open up my own captive agency, and I did it because I really wanted the opportunity to experience what it was like to own a business. I absolutely love our insurance world that we're in. I think it's absolutely the best thing that you can possibly be in to help somebody, and that you don't have to physically touch them and take care of them, because nursing was never something I ever wanted to get into. But I did that for a couple of years, and then I got an opportunity to come back over to Travelers, and I jumped at it. And all of the experience that I've had totally lends to what I'm doing now. And then the thought process when I go into an agency, what I'm looking at versus what your typical company person's looking at. I mean, I look at the agency as a whole, and I see all of the people. I see the owner and what the owner's having to deal with. Some of them have been agency owners for years. Some of them haven't been. Some of them have people that have worked for them for 20, 30 years. Others they got that newbie that just walked in the door that's starting into this wonderful world that we call insurance, that if you have, a weak heart, you are not going to last in this world. So it's one of those things where I get to see all sides, and I look at all sides of the business whenever I'm walking in. And then, that tornado that hit us a month ago almost now, and the devastation it did, I just was in awe of how quickly even the company partners, everyone responded to the whole ordeal, and how, that's what we're here for. We are here to help protect people in a way that nothing else really is going to protect you the way we do in our insurance business. So I love this business. And I tell people all the time, hey, whatever you like, you can do it in insurance. And so that was a long-winded way to get here, but that's memory lane as far as career goes.
No, it's perfect. Because you and I have a similar career path in the fact of, I started off as an agency owner and went to the carrier side and, did all that, and then came back to agency side and then back to, consulting and the podcast. And my whole world changed as well during the pandemic. And that's when I started this here podcast that's been 3 years now. But so, it's crazy for you. And I feel the same way, because when I became, a rep for a carrier, going in to see agencies, at first my trainer and the person who trained me was like, go in and see the agency owners and do all that and wine and dine them and make sure they send you business. And I was like, wait a minute. Over time, I started to realize, there's so many more people that work in an agency besides the agency owner, and so many reps and so many carrier people, they just focus on the owner, and half the time they're removed from the agency, or they don't know what goes on day to day. And that now because you've been an agency owner.
Oh, yeah. We're all in the challenges of hiring people and finding the right people and people that fit with your personality. Because I love to make sure that I understand who I'm talking to. So then that way, whatever message that I have to deliver, that I deliver it on the level that they can receive it and embrace it and then go succeed with it. Yeah. So that's the thought process that I have. And from the agency owner stance, man, I went into that knowing insurance, because this is all I've ever done. I absolutely enjoy it, and I'm not afraid to ask a question. But the business side of it all, and all of those things that go into it, and the HR side of it. I was an employment practices liability underwriter. I fully understood what it meant to have employees, and so it was one of those things where I just thought, oh, dear God, this is a lot. This was the part that I wanted to understand. And so the roller coaster, because I've called it a roller coaster on social media before, but the roller coaster of ownership, no matter what business you're running, those ups and downs, and you're trying to keep your head down and make it happen. And people are like, oh, you make this look easy. You make this look easy. And little did they realize how many tears were shed, because you're like, I'm not doing enough. What else can I do? How can I get better? I want to see this. I want to see that. I want these kind of numbers. But what that truly means, you have to have that team behind you and have that partner in your corner that's helping you succeed. And I very, very much appreciate the struggle that it is to be a business owner. And I say struggle because if you think it's a breeze, you live on another planet, and I want to go to that planet. But
right.
Yeah,
it's definitely not a breeze. And, you brought up so many things in there. One of the things that I wanted to dive into a minute, because I was shocked when I saw you come back to, the independent side and back to the carrier side, because from the looks of it, you were just dominating, the small city you lived in, and hell, the state of Arkansas, the way it looked, because you were posting great content. You could see your team was growing. You could see, all this stuff. And so I think a lot of agency owners probably could relate to that, because you want to post a highlight reel and you want to post how well you're doing. But like you said, it is a struggle. It does have its pitfalls and its downsides as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, and if you don't have faith, this can grow your faith in a way that you would never believe could happen. I grew up my whole entire life, attended church. And my faith has grown so much in the last 7 years. I'm so grateful for all of the struggles that I've gone through to be able to have that. Hey, I know that there's a reason for absolutely everything. And I knew having an agency, I was only going to do it for a certain amount of time. I had already put that in my mind. But at the same time with that, I wanted to take away everything I possibly could that could benefit whatever was to come next. Because, there is a fine line with absolutely everything that we do, no matter what it is, And so it's whatever's to come next. Like, what are you setting yourself up for? Who are you going to meet in that process? How's it going to help you? Because quite frankly, I firmly believe in we're all made for relationship. Like, everything is relational. So no matter what you're going through, it's only to connect you for the next thing that you're going to, either the next person that comes into your world or the next business that you take on, or whatever it is, it's like deep inside you that you're willing to listen to that call and to go do it. So part of that ownership aspect of everything for me was, okay, what else am I supposed to be doing with this? This is for something. I know this is just a stepping stone into whatever that I was purposed for. And then little did I know I was going to get an opportunity to be back in a role that would be more of a business consulting type of an idea, if you will, with helping and connecting with business owners to help grow their business with the company that I represent. And that's a cool thing, because I'm still getting to do what I'm passionate about, but I'm over there helping people and being able to encourage them in a way that most people probably haven't received.
And I think for me and you, the people that we love that consulting aspect of it. And I hear a lot of agency owners, a lot of people that work in agencies for that matter, CSRs, account managers, producers, complain about the reps that come in to see them, because it's like, all they want to do is come in and slide some reports across my desk, bang on my desk, say, where's my business? Where's my business? Your hit ratio is terrible. Your loss ratio is through the roof, blah, blah, blah. And they just want to spit out some carrier lingo and leave and get their paycheck, And so, I always wanted to be the opposite of that. I wanted to go in and provide value. Mm-hmm. I wanted to go in and, like you said, try to consult with them, try to help them to find other business. So, no matter what that looked like, I would do everything I could to bring that value. And it sounds like you were the same way.
Oh, yeah. Well, owning my own agency, time is money. And if you're not going to bring added content that is going to make them money, don't show up. That's
Agreed.
Really what it is. And I say that because, sometimes you go in there, and I think I've heard you say this before, sometimes you go in there and you're a counselor that day because whatever's going on. And that's great.
Yeah, all the time.
Because it is all about connection. And if you can't connect with somebody, find another job. And I say that because it is about connection. Yeah. And you don't want them rolling their eyes whenever you leave their agency. You don't want to say, dear God, I don't want her to come back. That's the worst.
100%.
But thankfully, it's one of those deals for me. It's just, hey, I'm coming in there. I really and truly want to see you win. I think everybody can. I think we're all here. There's so much business out there to be had. Let me help you because I want to. And somebody asked me one day, well, what's in it for you? And I was like, that I help you.
Bingo.
That's what it's about.
And people don't get that.
No, they don't. And most people, they're so, especially in our marketplace right now, everybody's so bogged down because it's a lot of work. They're doing a lot of work. And so you can go in and bring that ray of sunshine and make them smile, or, if you can make somebody's day good and connect with them, and you know what? People want to help you back.
No, they do. I swear to God, I was in an agency's office, excuse me, Lord, but I swear to goodness, I was in Northwest Arkansas, in an agent's office. And I'll say the name off air, and the guy was talking to me. We were going through our little spiel and talking, having a good conversation. And he was an older agent, and the office was hot. I fell asleep mid-conversation with this guy. Swear to goodness, mid-conversation, he's talking to me, and I'm just nodding off. And apparently, I fell asleep. Randy, 2 hours later, I woke up, blanket on me, pillow under my neck on the table. I'd slept for 2 hours, missed 4 appointments that day, Yeah, but the guy wanted to help me. He covered me up, gave me a pillow. He was like, man, I just figured you must have been tired from all your travels. You must have been tired from everything you've been doing. I say that, it was a true story, but, to go, they do want to help you. They do care about you, especially if you add that value. And I know it's a stretch, but I had to find a way to tell that story because I literally fell asleep in dude's office. And once I tell you the guy's name, you'll be like, oh my gosh, I get it.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad that he covered you up and gave you a pillow. Oh, well, I've not fallen asleep in anybody's
Oh
office.
man, I felt
I
bad.
go in there with a whole bunch of energy and, hey, how are you? Let me share this with you, but I really want to know, how are you? And I genuinely want to know. And it's amazing what people will tell you and how they trust you with what they tell you. And you just take it. And, there's a lot. We are in the South and I pray. And for somebody, whatever they're dealing with, if it's a struggle, if it's a kid struggle, if it's a marriage, if it's whatever, it's like, hey, I'll pray for you. And literally go out in my car and do it right then. And then you can just tell it's a completely different feel.
Yeah.
Completely.
And I love that. And I love that you care about the people, because again, going back to not just agency principals, but the producers and the account managers. And you and I have talked about it, and you talked about it with a microphone last week about the potential that people have, and you wanting to help, see people reach that potential. And that's something that I wanted you to share a little bit. I made you stop before we hit record. Like, we got to hit this on the record, because I love what you were talking about before we started.
There are so many people, though, that have potential and they don't. I think it's a society, everybody's looking at social media and they're like, oh, this is so great. And, the highlight reel of absolutely everything. But very few people, I really feel, are throwing compliments around like confetti and affirmations to the people that they work with or that work for them, or, even those people sitting behind the desk that are doing a ton of work. Not all of them throw affirmations back to the agency owner or the business owner, whomever it may be. And people do have a lot of potential, but whenever you do get those compliments and things are highlighted of, hey, you're doing a great job here, I really appreciate this. I mean, people thrive under that. Like, if that's your leadership style, building somebody up is going to get you way more than tearing them down. I mean, even when I'm talking to folks, I'm saying, hey, you can get a lot more with honey than you can vinegar. So go ahead and be really kind whenever you're calling in, trying to, get some help with something. Because if I come at you and I'm really kind, you're going to listen to me over if I come at you with a whole bunch of hate in my voice and you're thinking to myself, I don't want to talk to her. I don't want to deal with that. But people just don't really see themselves, because self-reflection is really hard. And I don't think that a lot of people do it. And I'm a person who probably over the top self-reflects. I'm very self-aware and I journal a lot. And I just feel like if people saw themselves as others really see them, their perception would totally change. I really feel that way. And I wish I have 2 little kids and I'm trying to teach them that, because I don't want them to listen to the world and what the world's saying about them. I mean, if you're an agency owner and you're a good one, you're working your tail off. You're working your tail off to be an example and a servant leader. And a lot of people don't have that servant attitude because people think they're above it or somebody else should be doing X, Y, Z. I will tell you right now, I'm great at going and talking to people. All of the other smaller detailed things that most women are good at, I'm not. And I know it.
But it's hard to self-reflect. It's hard to look at yourself in that mirror, or it's hard to think about those kind of things because, not many people look in a mirror every day and say, dang, I look good, or man, I'm awesome, or I'm incredible. A lot of people have a hard time with that.
Mm-hmm. Well, because a lot of people are afraid to see who they are, and they're afraid of what they're not. And they're sometimes afraid of who they actually are. And you might be really good at something, but you don't want to go do it because you fear whatever somebody else in your world may say about you.
Yeah.
Or you're too scared to go do something because it's just, you're scared to fail.
Yeah, for sure.
And I just feel like people, I tell my kids this and I tell myself this on the regular, get over yourself. Get over yourself. You're not the most important person in the world. The world is a really big place. Take a 30,000 foot view. Look at what's actually happening, what's actually going on. See all the events and say, hey, what am I supposed to be learning here?
Ladies and gentlemen, we are at a mid-roll ad. It is summertime. It is time to get ready for the bathing suit season. It's time to get ready for conference season. It's time to take care of some yard work, take care of trimming the bushes, taking care of the hedges, And you got to make sure that you are ready to go with some amazing products over at Manscaped. We put together a bundle just for you of products that are waterproof. They help reduce nicks. The Lawnmower 4.0, the Beard Hedger Pro, they reduce the risk of ingrown hairs, and it helps reduce the risk of grooming accidents. Guys, the Lawnmower package has arrived, and it is amazing. You'll get the Lawnmower 4.0. You'll get the Weed Whacker and Nose Hair Trimmer. You'll get the Crop Preserver, the Crop Reviver. You'll get a pair of boxers that are game changer. Those boxers are amazing. I've had one of you actually reached out to me and said they had to order another 4 sets of those boxers. You got to check those out. Guys, the Crop Preserver is a below-the-waist deodorant, and the Crop Reviver is below-the-waist toner that will change the way that you do below-the-waist grooming. Go to manscaped.com and scroll down to the bottom, put in the code MAYOR for 20% off and free shipping. Free shipping. Game changer. Manscaped.com. Also, my good friends over at Cover Desk. If you're looking to add staff, add employees, if you're looking and needing to get some of those administrative tasks taken off of your desk or account manager's desk, go to Cover Desk and check it out. They train these virtual assistants in our space. They know our systems. They know how we speak. They know the language. And I personally have worked with several virtual assistants from Cover Desk, and they are amazing. They become a part of your team, a part of your culture, and just do a great job. Whether you need one or if you need a whole team, they can help you out. Go to coverdesk.com. And now let's get back to the show.
And if you do that, I mean, and your heart's open and your mind is open to it, you're going to get to a level you didn't think you could get to. But I also love to read, and I love to see how can I get better. I mean,
Are you a self-help book reader?
Do what?
Are you a self-help book reader?
I do like those books, yes.
I do too. That's the only thing I can read. I can't do a fantasy or a romance or a whatever. I have to read a self-help book or it's not going to get read. If I feel like I'm reading some raunchy novel, can't do it.
You'd be surprised. No, I'm kidding.
But I like self-help. So, okay, tell me this then. Let me rabbit trail for a second, or, squirrel moment. What's one of the best books you've read lately?
Read lately?
Or one of the best ones that's impacted your life in the last however many years?
Oh, gosh. That's a lot.
Name any book.
Well, I will tell you, I read The Road Back to You, which is all on the Enneagram.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved that. And because even as a small child, you can ask my dad, I was constantly trying to figure out why. Why did I respond to this way? Why did I do this that way? I've always wanted to figure myself out. But I wanted to figure myself out because I know that there's so much within me. There's so much purpose within me. What is it that I need to grasp and fully understand so I can fulfill that purpose? Yeah.
And
it's the best.
The question of why, I love that because I was listening to, I forgot the guy yesterday, but he was talking about 7 levels deep of why. And it was like, so many times I'll just go 1 or 2 levels, but he was like, no, keep going and keep digging into why you want to do this. And it's like, because I want to make more money. Well, why do you want to make more money? Because I want to support my family. Why do you want to support your family? And I'm like, how many levels deep can we go here? But once you get down into that level to the point where you feel like, okay, I figured it out.
Yeah.
And like this guy was telling his story and he was like, I just kept going. And this guy was like, we're going to keep going until you finally realize, okay, this is my really why. This is really what's going on. Yeah. And so have you ever dove that deep into these whys that you're talking about? We're getting deep here for a minute.
I journal a lot. I've journaled for a long time. Yeah. And I enjoy it. And it is really, really great therapy. And I'm a big fan of therapy. I think people should go.
Totally.
Should do it. There's not a stigma attached to it anymore. I don't feel like in our day and time. And so to be able to just go and pour all that out and figure it out and deal with the hard stuff. We've all lived a lot of life, whether, you've been married for 30 years or you've been divorced for 7 or, whatever that you're dealing with, kids going through whatever. I mean, I think it's a good thing to sit there and talk it out what bothers you, because something bothers all of us.
Well, you brought up a good point. It's that stigma's not there anymore. Like when I was young, I'm older than you are. I'm an old guy, but going to therapy, be like, oh my God, I can't believe you're going to therapy. What's wrong with you? Nowadays, it's accepted a little bit more. It's not so faux pas. It's different.
It's not a sign of weakness anymore. And, you know, growing up, for me, athlete, love playing sports. I mean, competitive. I don't even like to let my kids win anything. But I definitely, you know, I think in weak and strong. And, you know, when I reflect on who I am as a person, I'm a pretty strong girl, I would say. I mean, I'm pretty strong in general, just as far as, you know, actual strength, but just the whole, you know, I can carry a lot on my shoulders. That's a fact, you know, and I understand that. But one of the most therapy breakthrough was to allow myself to be weak and to accept that weakness that I do have, that I can't do it all on my own. I'm not supermom. I'm not superwoman. I've got to ask for help. I've got to understand what those weaknesses truly are. And once I did, in that whole self-reflection, like, you think I really wanted to admit any of that to myself? I mean, we grew up in the South. Image is everything, right? You've got to maintain a certain image. But sure. I said, forget it. I said, forget that. I don't care. I do not care anymore. You want to judge, go ahead. It's not going to matter. You want to know why? Because you got problems just as much as I got problems.
Right.
I don't want your problems any more than you want mine. So let's not, you know, and I found that I grew so much as a person once I embraced those things that were my true weaknesses. And I'm glad that I did, because it makes me connect with, it allows me, it doesn't make me, it allows me to connect with people on a level that we're not going to have a surface conversation. If I come in your office, it's not going to be a surface conversation. If I'm your friend, it's not a surface conversation. Nope. And you know that.
Oh yeah.
So it's one of those things where connection is what I feel like my gift is. It comes natural, and I also truly care. So,
and that's the thing that sets you apart. That's the thing that sets you apart.
Be the best me I can be for all the people that I love, and so I've learned to take time for myself. And I feel like people don't do that. Business owners, they don't take the time for themselves. You know, parents don't take the time for themselves. You know, priorities are not in line with what they should be. So I feel like that was one of the things, embracing those weaknesses. I got that. Okay, it's okay to be selfish. It's okay to take care of yourself, and not in a destructive way, in a very positive way.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because yesterday, and we didn't plan this out, Randy and I did not. We just talked like 5 minutes before we got on. But so I was on this whole Matthew McConaughey thing yesterday.
I listened to it too.
Okay, so when he was talking about the idea that being selfish is okay, I was like blown away by this, because I was like, wait a minute. Matthew McConaughey is the coolest dude ever. Now, he's a little cuckoo, but he's one of the coolest guys I've ever met, or not met, but, you know, seen on one of these things. And so it's like, holy smokes. So, yeah, you're right. I think it's okay to dive into yourself, to invest in yourself. Now, I think that goes for account managers. It goes for producers. It goes for everyone in that agency. And since we're in Insurance Town, you know, as we talk to, you know, whoever that is in the agency, I think you have to invest in you, whether it's go to a conference like we did last week, find a self-help book, listen to a podcast like this one, which you've already, you know, probably helped a lot of people already in 25 minutes, you know, whatever it might be. I think you have to do that.
You do. I mean, you are so important. And I think we don't allow ourselves to be important in the right manner. You know, people like, oh, she thinks she's arrogant. She's overly confident. She's good. Because one thing, and now this is weird, so here's the vulnerability that I am not good at normally in front of people, but you're welcome. You're welcome. Yes. But really and truly, I have been told, oh, well, you're really confident. And I think to myself, like, okay, is that a good thing or a bad thing? You know, because you definitely, growing up, you always want to fit in, even though you've never fit in. Like, that's not you think and you do differently, and you're happy because you can be, and you embrace it, and you enjoy that music that comes on and you start dancing, or what, you smile, Because why sit in a conference like we did last week with a fish face when you should be smiling, enjoying the fact and being grateful that you're there, right? And I was like, what in the world? This is a bad thing to be confident? I thought about it. I pondered that for a while. And then some other things have happened in my world. And I'm not confident as in arrogant. I'm just really comfortable with who I am as a person because I truly am grateful for every opportunity that I have. I mean, I live with gratitude. I do not, post something on social media just to, play a highlight reel. I sincerely am grateful for absolutely everything. And, when you have that mindset of gratitude, your perspective changes. And so it's like, no, I know who I am. And quite frankly, and I say this to everybody, I don't care if you have billions of dollars.
Yeah.
You're nothing. I do not care. If you're a good person and you're trying your best to do as good as you can for the right reasons, hey, I'll talk to you just like I talk to everybody else. I don't care. Because we have moments we can learn from each other. But people don't take the time to have those conversations. They don't want to say, oh, yeah, I'm struggling with this. Or my wife and I, my wife's upset because I'm gone a lot for work. And I was like, I've had conversations with people, hey, I get that. I was like, but date her. Make sure you're dating her. Or, my kid's struggling with whatever. Hey, have you had a conversation with them? Just see how they are. Like, that's okay too. Like being real with people, that attracts more than being fake. Because I will tell you.
You're exactly right. And I think there's a difference in arrogance. There's a difference in arrogance and confidence. And I think what you got is more on the line of confidence in yourself and, being real and being honest. You're a child of God and you believe in that. And you and I sharing beliefs in that. And, being Christ-centered helps you in that. Even people that, are Christians struggle in their identity. I'm not saying that. But what I'm getting at is you have embraced who you are. And so for just a minute, those that are listening, I love where we're at on this because we don't even have to talk insurance and it's fantastic. But those that are listening that are struggling in their self-worth or struggling in their confidence or struggling in those things, what could you say to those people? Let's talk to Dr. Randy for a minute.
Well, my grandfather used to call me Reverend Randy, but okay.
All right, Reverend Randy, get it, girl.
No, I would say to those people, you're worth so much. I wear a bracelet that says I am enough because my personality type doesn't ever allow me to think that I am. And so I fight that on the daily. I am enough. And I would say, list out all those things that you like about yourself because there's more than you think. List out a couple of those things that you don't care as much about yourself, but that you want to get better at, and just focus on the positive. If you don't like something, you have the power to change it. You do. I mean, and one of the things that I absolutely love, and I truly, truly believe this, is that we really do have power over our thoughts and we can decide what we want to think. Now, I definitely want to put this plug out there. I do believe in mental illnesses. I believe all of that. I don't discredit any of that, but I do feel like what we focus on, just like Matthew McConaughey said yesterday, or somebody in that said it, but what we focus on, that's where our feelings go. So when I journal, I don't journal about I might say something that's not so great, but I always turn that perspective into the good that can come from it. And I focus on what is good. I focus on the things that are going to yield positive results. I don't want to do negativity at all. I don't want to do stress. I know negativity and stress are part of life. But if we choose to focus on the good is what we attract. And everything that you read and all the things that you hear, you do attract what you put out there. So I will tell you, if you smile at somebody when you walk by, they're going to smile back at you. That's an attraction. That's it. You attracted that. I mean, you just have to fully accept who you are and be good with it. And not to get overly preachy, but because I have very strong faith, I mean, if I didn't have that, I know I wouldn't have the outlook I have. I know that I wouldn't smile as big as I do. And I got a pretty big smile. And so I know that what I would focus on, how I would intently listen to people, it wouldn't be the same because I know that I am enough. It took me a long time to figure it out. It took a lot of failed attempts at a lot of different things. that made me feel like I wasn't enough. But whenever I finally said, hey, you know what? I'm pretty good at what I am. I'm pretty good at who I am. Why am I the one hating on me? Nobody else hating on you. You're hating on yourself. Why are you hating on yourself? There's no reason.
Right.
Love yourself. And I think that's one of the hardest things that a lot of folks struggle with, is truly loving who they are and growing in, like, embracing the process and the journey of getting there.
And that's the thing. People want it like they do their microwave or fast food or their Starbucks. They want it like that. They want it overnight. You can't. What I struggle with, and you're right behind me in this, and raising kids, and I try to tell them what I wish someone had told me when I was 12, 13, 15-year-old pimply-faced kid going through the struggles of junior high and high school. It's like, it doesn't matter right now. People say, I hate when people say high school is the greatest time of your life. No, it's not. I'm 43 years old, and it keeps getting better every single day.
And I'm the type of person that I really do want to live what I was purposed for. And I've made a lot of mistakes, and I accept that I've made a lot of mistakes. Not happy about those mistakes, right? But those mistakes I have made really have allowed me to connect with people that I would have never been able to connect with. I mean, it's, life's not easy. And I mean, I never thought that my life would go the way it has gone, but it's becoming this beautiful story that I'm embracing living. I want to live the story that I'm living. I'm grateful for all the really crummy things that I've either done or gone through, that I, can look on the other side of it and say, you know what, this was really crappy. Why did I do that? Or why did this happen? What was the real reason for this? And when you don't say, like, poor pitiful me, and you do look for something to improve your life, like, okay, what can I learn from this? Then the outlook is so much better. And I feel like you get so much more out of it, because it wasn't a waste of time and it wasn't pointless. And you go through everything for a reason.
If you were on one of those, what would be your keynote topic? What would you talk about? If you had one topic you'd talk about. We couldn't rabbit trail, one topic.
One topic. I would say connecting.
Okay.
And the reason why I would say connect, our world is about connecting. Everything is connected, no matter what you want to, say. I mean, it's all connected, and how it affects other people. And mostly what's the connection that you're wanting to make? I mean, that's really, you have to think about it and be intentional. And a lot of people don't think with intentionality. They literally are just say whatever and, come across very self-centered and that kind of thing. But how to connect with yourself first, because I guess I've done a lot of work in that area. And then what's worked, what hasn't worked, how I've continued to beat myself up, but then how I've been able to connect with other people that beat themselves up in the same way, but to spin it into a positive, to be more encouraging to everyone around you, because you're going to get the best out of everyone if you encourage them and they learn to believe in themselves. But they have to connect with that idea before they can do it.
Yeah, and that sounds to me like it's the root of everything. Once you connect with yourself and with God, then everything else, you'll be able to connect with other people, connect with your why, connect with your purpose, connect with your agency, connect with your clients, whatever it might be.
Oh, yeah. Well, and people want to see you be real.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody, so fun fact, sidebar.
I love it.
Night, and one of the friends at the table was on a dating app, and I made a comment.
I was there. I remember this.
I made a comment and I said, if someone filters their picture, don't go for them. Swipe the other direction, whatever it is. Swipe right, swipe left. I can't remember.
Right, but that was one of the funnest conversations I've ever had. Me and you and 5 other people helping this guy, the dating app. But you made a good point there about the filter, and I know you're going to go further, so go ahead. Well,
whenever somebody's filtering themselves, they're not real. I mean, what do we connect with? We connect with someone who's real. Like, whatever I'm going through, unless that person has gone through it themselves, I do not want your opinion. I don't. And to be a real person is hard, truthfully. It's hard because it means exposing yourself in a way that you don't want to be exposed, because what if somebody doesn't like me?
Right.
Thought process. And so I mean, people that are real, you get so much more from them, and you get that honesty that you're seeking, because you really do want to make the best choice, and you really do want to do the thing normally. I mean, most normal people want to do the right thing. But if you're not real, I mean, why play? That's how I feel.
Right. And I love that, because obviously don't filter your looks, but also don't filter your personality. Don't filter your life. Don't filter your everything, just be real about things. And I think that's fantastic. And, you were talking about intentionality earlier. One of the things I took away from one of those people yesterday, so I had it play in the background for literally 4 hours yesterday and loved it. But, I think it was the guy at the very end, Dean Graziosi, maybe, or something, whatever his name is. He said, or maybe it was Tony Robbins. But anyway, he said the definition of fear versus faith. And he talked about fear is like that weed. You don't have to feed it. It's going to continue to grow, and it's just going to make your whole life ugly. And then faith, you have to be intentional with faith. You have to water it. You have to take that time and be intentional with that to grow your faith. And that's where people have a hard time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because it's hard.
It is hard. People think it's going to be easy, whether you have faith in God, faith in yourself, faith in your agency, faith in your kids. That takes intention. You can't just stick it out there. Like you said, like I love that analogy of fear is like a weed, because I have zero grass in my grass right now. It's all weeds. And so I don't hire one of those services. I just think it's stupid. But I also don't do the weed and feed. So what?
I got a lawn guy if you need his number.
There you go. So the point being, those weeds, every year they come back over and over and over and over. They continue to get worse and ugly. And I'm like, I can't get enough grass to choke the weeds out, but it would take intentionality. And my wife's like, my beautiful and lovely wife, she's like, if you would take the time to actually do it, then it would work, And I'm like, oh, so hard. I don't want to do yard work. But same thing with you, with your life, with your faith, with your agency, with your book of business, with whatever.
Yeah. Faith. I mean, it's fun that you brought that up, because I did write down faith takes intentional choice. And, life is a series of choices, and you deal with it. A lot of choices are pretty easy. You either do or you don't, and then you deal with whatever comes next. And that's what I feel like from a faith perspective, is that I'm, like most people, I like to control things. And faith is something that when you give over whatever it is that you're trying to control to the ultimate one that can control everything that will benefit for the goodness for you, things just turn out the way they need to. And, even in Matthew McConaughey's book, those red lights, it's called Green Light, by the way, but like red lights, yellow lights, and green lights. And I hate red lights, especially if it's something I think I'm supposed to do and I want to do it this way or whatever. But I can see, taking that 30,000 foot view of those red lights that have come into my world. Hey, you stop right here, or you had this breakdown here, and this is what this means. And, it redirected you in a different manner, and seeing that for what it is, and having the faith, the intentional faith of saying, hey, God, I know you got me. I do. I know you got me. I'm preaching it to my children constantly. That I know it's going to work out, because I have this thing that I write in my most all of my journal entries at the very end. I say good things are happening, good things are coming, because they are. There are a lot of good things happening, and a lot of good things are coming. And if you don't believe that, why? Why do you not believe it?
Yep.
Because it's your mindset. Mindset's everything. And your culture in your agency, your culture in your home.
Yep.
I mean, you create the culture that you want to live, and that's intentional. Whatever you're doing, even if you're not doing anything, that's intentional. So I think having that faith, it creates a world for you to live in that opens you up to so much favor that can be given to you.
Yeah.
It's so worth it. It's so worth living a faithful life. Even when you fall off the road and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to do this. Or you feel the worst you've ever felt in your life. And then you say, okay, pity party over, hopping back on the road. And I'm saying, hey, yeah, here you go. I'm sorry. I tried to take everything back, God. I tried to do it again. But no, you're better at this. Here, take it. I don't want it anymore. And it just all tends to work.
It always does. Yeah. You're
So
100% right. So, and, as we wrap this up and we bring it back around to insurance for a minute, we've talked about so many wonderful things, not even related to insurance. And that's why I wanted to have you on, because I knew we would, because I love you and we're brother and sister. And,
yeah.
it's so I'm just glad we did. I can't even talk. But going back to insurance, all the things we've talked about and the things that you learned over the last however many years in your career, let's say over a decade.
Well,
What is so what? Yeah, whatever. You still look 21, but what have you learned? What is the number one thing that you would say you've taken away from your decade plus of insurance career? What is the number one thing you've learned? You've learned a lot, but number one?
That's a big deal. One of the things I would say most of all that I've learned is that everybody really does want to help everybody.
Yeah.
They really do. I think the intent is there. I think what we fail to realize is competition's great, but we really need to celebrate each other, celebrate all those wins. There's so much out there from a business stance. I mean, but we need to celebrate each other. We need to build each other up. We need to go to these conferences like we did at the PIA last week. I mean, it was great. It was absolutely great. I enjoyed the speakers. I enjoyed the awards banquet. I mean, if you're going to be driving an awards banquet, I'm telling you, I was like, this is a family. And insurance, if you're in this business and you're genuinely good people, one, you're going to come to these things because you realize that everybody is there to support each other. It's not a let's tear each other down. No, our industry is a really great industry. And quite frankly, we're financial asset protectors. Like we should wear capes and run around because what we do is so important. Yeah. And we should be there for each other and build each other up because this business is hard. It is not easy. And I don't care who you are, where you're from, whatever. If you think this is easy, call me up. I want to know what your strategy is because it's not the easiest business in the world.
Yeah. But you nailed it. That abundance mindset of there's enough business to go around, and I don't think enough people understand that. And when you go to these conferences, whether it's in your state or whether it's a national conference or whatever it might be, you get into these groups and you realize people just want to share. Like you said, they want to share their ideas. They want to share their passions. They want to share how they do things. And if you have that open book mentality, it's all going to come back to you tenfold. And so I think you nailed it there. The abundance mindset has to be, it's not about, captive versus independent or direct to consumer versus B2B or this versus that or big I versus PIA or this versus that. It's just about a collective industry that wants to help people. When you have a tornado swipe through our city or state, like we had, I don't care if you got Farmers Insurance, Progressive, Travelers, or Union Standard, whoever you got, we're here. We come together as a community and we rebuild roofs. We rebuild houses. We put together wheelchair ramps. We do what it takes. That's what matters at the end of the day. It doesn't matter what color you wear, whether you're, a red, blue, green, doesn't matter what color your, shirt is. It just matters that you're here for our community.
Yeah. I mean, that's what, it is an small community. And I mean, we got to love each other. And, the world's bad enough. We see all these things that are going on in the world. I don't even watch news. Like people are having to tell me what's going on because I don't either. I don't like it. And I want, to see everyone for who they are.
Yep.
Mess up. People can mess up that, things happen in our world, but at the same time, I mean, look at somebody for who they are and what they're trying to do and be. Yeah. And if their intent is genuine, because that's what I'm most attracted to is from a friend stance, from people I want to hang around, from how I want to raise my kids. I mean, being genuine in this industry and showing that community, like you just mentioned, that's the help that we're trying to give people. And as a whole community in insurance, that is really what we want to do. Now, do we all want to make money? Heck yeah. Who doesn't want to make money and provide for their family and do good?
Yep.
But I think, from an agent perspective, from an agency owner perspective, from a CSR account manager, I mean, I really feel like they should be called customer service advisors because they are giving advice on what to do. I mean, showing the importance of everybody in our industry, showing that love. I mean, be kind, right? That's the whole adage. I was walking and listening to that Matthew McConaughey deal, and I saw a sign on this person's door. It just said, be kind. And I thought, man, if we could just spread that around like confetti, along with those compliments that we would give people and those positive affirmations, I mean, our world would be such a better place. We all have so much to give. Why don't we give it?
100%. I'm with you.
I feel like that's the same thing in our industry. We all have so much to give. Like if we were helping everybody, I mean, your relationship with whomever you are trying, to entertain to become your client or who is already your client, I mean, your relationship, take care of it. If you want to succeed, take care of your relationships, take care of the relationship with your community, take care of the relationship with your spouse, with your house, with your parents. I mean, take care of what matters and be kind to absolutely.
There you go. Yeah, you're exactly right. I love that. And I appreciate you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If people wanted to find you, is there a way I could get a hold of you if they wanted to reach out, whether it be DMs or email or anything? Is there any way people can get in touch with you?
Yeah. LinkedIn is a good one. That's out there. I would say that's probably the easiest way.
Good.
I've been trying to stay off some of this other social media stuff lately, but LinkedIn would be a really good way.
And it's Randi with an I, and DuLaney. It's in the description on the podcast. Just look it up. I'm going to spell it right, but DuLaney. Got it. I love you. I appreciate you.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I love what we do, and I love the relationship that you and I have, and the relationship that we both care so much about in this industry. I mean, it's great. It's cool to be able to influence people in a manner of just being good with it.
Yeah, dude, it's awesome. Thank you so much. And we'll do this again someday.
Sounds good.
Thank you for hanging out with us today. We had a great time. Randi is awesome. And I hope that our rambling really helped you. I'm just kidding. We had a great time today and so inspired. And I hope that you are too. It was so much fun sitting down and catching up with my dear friend. And guys, if you have an idea for your own show, go to getreadysetpodcast.com. That's getreadysetpodcast.com. Taking your brilliant ideas, turning them into reality. Guys, also, I would love to hear from you. I love jumping into the mailbag. The mailbag is probably my favorite part of the week. And every single day, I'm getting messages from you wanting to get to know how they can improve the show, or they give me ideas, or, I love the compliments that you're giving me. I love the video shares. I love the ideas. I just love it. I love hanging out with you guys. So we're going on we've been over 3 years now. So it's super exciting. Use Heath at insurancetownpodcast.com, or go check out the website, insurancetownpodcast.com. Thanks again, guys. I look forward to hanging out with you again next week.